Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the M53 M55, the Tier 9 American SPG. This one's located on the north spawn of Prokhorovka, and it's under the command of Dave Monkey. Well, we've seen him in action before, and he sent us in another battle in the M53 M55. That is the M55, I can tell that because it's got the short fat barrel, which is the 18 howitzer. And that means that he's capable of doing 900 alpha, penetrating 52mm of armor, and standard reload would be 40.27 seconds, but in fact he's got 31.53. Okay, well, he's aiming right down at the spotting bushes, right down the south end of the map, and there's good reason for doing that actually, mainly because when the enemy tanks, the spotting tanks, go up onto that little ridge line, they sometimes knock a tree down to give them a bit of extra cover by firing an HE round into the ground next to it, causes the tree to collapse, and that tells them that there is a target there. But instead he's gone for the tanks at the centre line and got his first hit in on a Super Conqueror and an AMX M451, who took the brunt of that hit for 333. Now, the M53 M55 is a popular tank because it, like the M44, it's got a wide arc of firing, 30 degrees either side of the centre line, and that means you get a 60-degree arc overall, and that's quicker to dial in on targets. Okay, he's adjusting now because I think he's going back over to the other side of the map, looking down the side to see any sign of any light tanks that have created a camouflage position. Meanwhile, the enemy heavies have turned up and he's dialing in as fast as he can. Almost ready. That's it, rounds out. Ready? Now. Now, I actually predicted, I said rounds out, but I was watching the aim timer. Now, some people, I'll say it again because I don't think people actually realise this does exist, but as one of the Aslains mods, there is an aim timer. It's slightly to the right of the reticule. You can see it counting down the seconds until you're fully dialed in on the target. When that says reduced in Russian, when it counts down to 0, that's when you're fully dialed in. That's it. And that's Sveden. I think it's Sveden is the Russian word, which actually means reduced, which means it's fully contracted. Now, he's dialing in this time on the Superconch, and round went straight out the moment he was reduced, and he's changing position to avoid counter battery. There's a couple of enemy tanks right up on top of the hill, and they're down on the edge of the cliff as well. If he hits them, he might actually knock them over the edge if they stay close to the edge, but instead they've decided to go a little further in. Now, he can really damage these guys if he lands it, fires it right now. Rounds out straight away. Oh, direct hit. The Leopard took that one for 428. Good shot. And another thing that he's doing, which I also like and agree with, is he's telling his teammates how long he's got until he's reloaded. What I do is I actually time the C key, which announces how long I've got left to fire. And you can do that using Aslains mods. If you press the C key, it says you've got however many seconds until you're ready to fire again. So your teammates know that the next shell will be coming out in, say, 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Another thing I do, apart from actually targeting the enemy tank and putting the T key over them to say that's the one I'm looking at next, is I do that before I shoot on an enemy I can see, And I do it afterwards as well to kind of prompt my teammates to say, will you hit that one for me please now, because I've stunned it, so therefore I can get some stun assist off it. And of course they will get the assistance. Char Future 4 trying to aim behind it. Rounds out, looks good. Right behind him for 277. If he backed up a little more, that would have been nice, but as it was, he actually did get a huge amount of stun assist off that, so that really worked. He picked up 785 stun assist off the Char Future 4 alone. He's now up to 1200 hit points of assist and actual damage together. Ready to go. Just need the target to see it. Now, something I've actually mentioned before, but obviously it was a long while ago, is that Prokhorovka is actually an historical battle, as you know. It was a whole bunch of German Tigers and Panzer IVs against absolute armada of T-34s coming at them, just absolutely masses of them. Wave after wave of T-34s, and I must admit it would be quite interesting to see how one of these battles would play out if they had, say, 30 or 40 T-34s attacking Tiger 1s and Panzer IVs over this battlefield. Well, that Waffenträger didn't last very long. He's out the game and he was killed by a 50 TP. The thing is, it would be difficult to actually have, say, 30 or 40 T-34s, but the T-34s got so close to the Tigers, they were actually milling around in between them and shooting at them at point-blank range. The Germans did the best they could to take out as many T-34s as they could from long range, but there was just so many of them coming towards them, hundreds of them. And so in the end, they couldn't stop them getting really close. And once they did get close, their 76mm guns started being really effective on the Tigers, and of course they were putting holes into the rears of them, just like in the film Fury. In the end, it was sheer weight of numbers that enabled the Soviets to actually win on them at Kursk. Of course, Prokhorovka was one of the battles at Kursk, one of the individual battles. I do know that wargaming have in the past had historical battles. The unfortunate thing is that most of the time they've had historical battles, the Germans win, because of course the German tanks were better at that particular point in time than any of the alternatives on the Allied side. In the end, it was sheer weight of numbers on both sides, on both fronts. The sheer number of M4s and the sheer number of T-34s that actually dealt the fatal blow to the Germans. You just couldn't continue to fight against that many. Now, Dave Monkey's deciding he's going to move over the other side of the map, and with very good reason, because there's nobody on his side of the map defending him against enemy tanks that are coming over on the east side. We do have a whole bunch of tanks down on the south side of the map. You can see them there, right next door to the railway line. But if that Emil 1 that's right at the centre decided to go up the east side of the map, we wouldn't be able to stop him until he got really close to us. So by moving over this side, Dave Monkey's actually protecting himself from any outflanking manoeuvre. And he's now got to a position where he can attack the Emil 1 without fear of actually getting fired back on. Now let the CS-63 see the Emil, and he's found him. Just adjusting carefully. Rounds out. Was going to miss, but he did get something out of it. As you can see, he's actually completing the mission at the moment. I believe he did actually specify which mission he was trying to complete. And I think it was one of the Alliance missions or something of that nature. He loaded. That's out. Well, we didn't get to see that one, so I think we need an instant replay, don't you think? Okay, so what does he do? He looks at the Super Conqueror, dials in, spots him again, adjusts his aim, he's loaded, right into the front of him, and he started moving the moment he fired to make sure that he couldn't be counter-batteried. He's just the other side of the bowl, that Super Conqueror, trying to use his gun depression. But if he does stay there, then it looks like Dave is going to get a chance to pump a few rounds into him. Nobody's turned up on the east side yet, but the enemy does have a considerable number of tanks. They still have 7 out there. Just appears that most of them are on the southwest corner of the map. Well, we just lost our Jaegeru. Or did we? No, we lost the Emil 1951, not the Jaegeru. Appears they do have a Jaegeru. And they lost their Charfuture. But there's the Arty. Let's finish him off. Oh, and he's gone before we can even shoot. But there is a Super Conqueror. And a 50 TP. Rounds out. And that's a kill. 181 hit points. And they're falling now. The Jaeger just derped our tortoise, but he's kind of caught now. And if we can get around into him, we can stun him and let our teammates take it out on him. He's just the other side of that wreck. He's marked the spot because he can't see him, and so he's decided to go for the Super Conqueror instead. Just adjusting his aim. Rounds out. Yep, right in the face again, right on the upper plate. Jaeger is in sight, and yes, he's still there on that wreck. Not anymore. Or is he? No, he is still there. Sorry. My mistake. He is still there. What we took down there was the CC-1 Mark II. We're about to be loaded on the Super Conqueror. Okay, he's just adjusting. Looks good. Rounds out. And that's a kill. So that's the second kill for Dave Monkey. There's only one enemy left. It's the Jaegeru, which means he doesn't have to worry about being attacked in the rear. All he needs to do now is get some damage with that last shell, if he can get some damage. There he is, still the other side of that wreck. Oh! And the kill shot goes to our SMV CC67. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for Dave Monkey in the M53, M55. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he ended up with 9, but no other medals in the game, but he did get a high amount of damage. Let's have a look at team score. Well, the highest damage actually went to the enemy Jagdpanzer. The Jaegeru managed 6,590 hit points of damage, so he was really rocking it. The second highest damage went to the CS63 on Dave Monkey's team with 5,107. And the third highest damage actually went to the Waffenträger, who managed 3,381, with Dave Monkey coming up behind. So he was actually in 4th place on damage. 3,158 hit points of damage. So, yes, he was quite close to getting, well, it was a decent score, but it didn't get as high as the Jaeger, 6,500. He did actually get a high caliber out of that one. So he over 20% of the enemy hit pool. When it came to kills, though, it was actually the Jagdpanzer again with 5 kills, 1/3 of our team. And then there was a whole bunch of tanks with 2 kills apiece, including Dave Monkey. He got 2. The Pershing got 2. The 52P, the SU-101. And nobody on the enemy team got more than 1 kill except the Jaeger. And when it came to base XP, it was Dave who managed to get the highest with 1,126. Second highest was the CS63 with 1,058. And the third highest, the SU-101 with 1,015. And they were the only 3 players who managed to get over 1,000 base in the game, with Dave Monkey right at the top. He fired 15 rounds in that game, so he still had 5 rounds left at the end. He had 8 direct hits on the enemy, but no penetrations at all, and splashed 17. 3,158 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 7 of the enemy, killed 2, did 1,621 hit points of stun assist of 15 stuns. He earned 32,483 credits on a premium account, and after a resupply of ammunition and consumables, just made a profit of 675 credits. He also earned 1,126 XP times 2 for the first victory, 3,378 personal missions payout, and took away 6,753 altogether. The Jaeger was a particularly dangerous customer. He was putting out quite a lot of damage. I think actually at one point he did have a chance, Dave, of actually getting a solid hit on that guy, because he was parked right next door to that wreck. But he decided not to shoot and instead picked on the Super Conqueror. Now, he did kill the Super Conqueror in the end, so I suppose that was in his favour. But he might have actually got the Jaeger before the Jaeger killed any more of our team. And so maybe he would be regretting not taking that shot instead, because it took him at least a couple of shots to get the Super Conqueror in the end. But a good game, an ace tanker. Well done to Dave Monkey. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give the video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.